Welcome back, guys. Today we're talking about some shoulder stability. Now, a lot of the times we run into issues when we're starting to get into the overhead position, right? We can get real strong through here, right? We're training push-ups, bench press, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, it can get a little easier as well, kind of overhead, but kind of the in-between. Not all the way overhead, not all the way straight in front of us. As we're transitioning through, that's where we can start to have some speed wobble. So what we like to drill here is an exercise called our wall glide. What we're going to do is we're going to use one of these little hip bands, right? Most of the people, they use it for their monster walks. You can check that video out here. But we're going to use it with our arms to start to engage our external rotators to make sure that we can maintain good stability at the shoulder joint. But we're going to work on starting to get our shoulder blades, right, that scapula, able to move up and down to create a stable platform for our arms to stay strong in our lifts, or even just our day-to-day when we reach up to kind of grab something out of the top cupboard in our kitchen or in the storage unit or whatever. So I have my nifty band. The farther up the shin of the upper arm, the farther up the forearm, the more difficult it's going to be, right? There's a longer lever to act against. So just to start off, I'm going to put it right in the middle. Doesn't necessarily matter. Up against a wall, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my arms kind of like so, and I'm just placing them up against the wall. I want to be in a nice active position. I'm not just hanging out, letting my low back kind of relax. I'm staying strong through my core, just like I was gonna start playing basketball or volleyball or any of our athletic sports, okay? So, nice and strong here. Elbows go up against the wall. What I want to do is I want to have a little bit of abduction, right? Trying to open those arms apart. And what I also want to think of is opening my hands like so. So I want to get those palms a little bit open and back, just like so. Now what I'm going to do, thinking about pushing the wall away, right? I get a little bit of activation in my serratus down here. So this is a very active position before I even start moving. From here, keeping all of those things strong, I slowly start to glide up the wall, hence the name. And what I'm looking for here are a few different faults, okay? If, let's say, I start to reach my arms up and I start to feel my arm drift in, that's going to be a fault, right? And what we want to do is we want to practice perfection, right? Because practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect, right? And we want to make sure that we're able to keep ourselves strong in this overhead position. So I'm reaching up. If my arm falls in, that's a fault. If my back starts to arch, that is also a fault. So what I'm doing is I'm finding where do I fail. And for me, it's my external rotators, right? We start to feel just a little bit of that drift in on this right arm. So that's where I stop. And I'm working just this small range, trying to hold, again, the pressure outward, the external rotation, and the abduction. So I'm trying to rip and open everything apart, and I'm dragging those arms up and down. When playing around with these wall glides, we want to do this as kind of a primer, kind of getting everything turned on before we get into our activities, especially if we're working out in the overhead position. Now, this is a pretty powerful exercise, so I want to do this once or twice a day, making sure that our reps are perfect. So I'm shooting for around 5 to 10 reps of really strong pushing into the wall, opening, externally rotating, no faults. And as time goes on, right, with those 5 to 10 reps per set, we'll start to find that we can go a little bit higher, a little bit wider, right? And we're really getting those shoulder muscles turned on. And that way we create really, really stable shoulders for any of our overhead positions. Shut up! Be silent, child!